Yeah, in today's session, we'll try to discuss basically about what actually is an expert system, how an expert system will be used as part of your artificial intelligence, and what are the characteristics or what are the advantages or limitations of your expert system. The basics of all the expert systems will be covered as part of today's session. So everybody need to quickly recall all your concepts what we have discussed in the previous sessions about your artificial intelligence, because in today's concept or today's session we will try to again discuss about how those all discussions whatever we have done will be used as part of your expert systems. Yeah, so basically an expert system is a computer program that is designed to solve complex problems and to provide decision making ability like a human expert. So basically the theme of AI or intelligent machine is to make some decision making is the final goal of anything. So if you want to make some decisions, accurate decisions like your human beings, by understanding the previous knowledge, you need to design some computer program. We call it as an algorithm, or can be a program which is able to solve complex problems, and that's how a algorithm will be developed or an intelligent machine will be developed, and that machine should be able to make some decisions. So according to the inputs whatever is provided by the user, it need to understand the inputs, and accordingly it need to provide some output with a proper reasoning. That's what we have seen in the previous sessions, and in today's session we will try to understand in deep about what actually should be an expert system. Yeah, so it basically performs this decision making skills by extracting knowledge from its knowledge base. So in the previous session we have tried to see that uh, how a knowledge base should be developed, so how knowledge representation should be considered, and also how a reasoning should be given. Because if an expert system or if an intelligent machine need to give some proper decision making or reasoning, it should have some knowledge base. So using this knowledge base and the reasoning and inference rules, according to the queries asked by the user, it will try to give you the decision whether the thing whatever you have requested is available or not. So according to the inputs or the requirement by the user, it will try to understand the knowledge base and it will try to give you some results. Yeah, so so it performs this by extracting knowledge from its knowledge base using the reasoning and the inference rules. The rules whatever you have learned as part of your propositional logic, the predicate logic, and also semantic tableau system. So whatever the concepts you have learned with respect to your logical programming or logic programming, those all things will be used as part of your development of your expert system. And according to the user queries, it will try to respond. So these all things we have discussed. So now, yeah. So here, this system helps in decision making for complex problems using both facts and the heuristics like a human expert. So basically, it will try to understand the queries from the user first, and next it will try to see how some previously decisions are made from the knowledge base. So every time it will try to store some information in its knowledge base, and accordingly it will try to provide see some heuristics or the rules or the semantics, and according to how human beings give some decision. In the same manner, an expert system will try to give some decisions. It will try to make some decisions from the previously available data also. So these systems are designed for a specific domain such as medicine, science. So basically an expert system, as I said in the previous discussion about your knowledge representation, while diagnosing a uh, disease or a medicine or some condition of a patient, it will try to take some input from the user, and accordingly it will try to give some uh, precautions or the safety measures like what should be a person doing according to the inputs provided by him. So for that, an expert system should equip knowledge from all the different areas, then only it can give some proper decision making. So a person who is trying to develop an expert system need to look into all the parameters, like he need to think with respect to n number of parameters, like n number of attributes, how a user will try to interact with a expert system. So these all things will be taken into consideration. So if it is a medicine sector or if it is a science sector or if it's education sector, anywhere you will be having an expert system which can give some make some decisions where expert system is actually designed by the experts in that area only. So we call it as expert system because there are n number of experts who have tried to develop that. So finally it will be able to make some decision taking into parameters or consideration all the points whatever a user is actually asking about. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, so you can see the block diagram, like how an expert system will be represented, or how an expert system working will be uh, done with respect to your knowledge base. Yeah, so here you can see a non-expert user or a normal user is trying to give some inputs to the user interface. So you can see what actually is expert system here. It consists of three phases or uh, three things equipped here, like user interface, where a non expert or any person, a human being, will try to interact with a user interface. Accordingly he will give some inputs, and a user interface will try to take it forward to the rules engine, where n number of things will be verified. So once they are verified, so for that rules engine only the knowledge base will be assigned, because from the previously understood knowledge or the previously stored data, a rules engine need to take some inputs from the knowledge base, which is actually given by an knowledge from an expert. So here this is what we have seen with respect to your unit 2, how a knowledge should be given to a knowledge base from by an expert. So when I talk about expert here, it's not only one person. There will be n number of experts who will try to build a knowledge base. So the rules engine here will try to take inputs from the knowledge base according to the user queries, and accordingly it will try to give some advices or give some output to the non-expert user, or a basically we call it as user. So this is the architecture which everybody of you should keep in your mind while answering about your expert system. So whenever you are concentrating on your examinations, so any question from your unit 3 about expert systems, this thing is the basic answer what you need to give for anything about your expert system, like how a user will interact with a user interface, how a user interface will try to communicate with the uh, rules engine, and how we are providing some knowledge from an expert to a rules engine. So this is what we finally call it as an expert system architecture. So everybody of you should try to understand this thing. So similar to your classification method in your data mining, they will be having an expert system which will try to understand user interface, user inputs, and accordingly it will try to give some advices. Okay. Yeah. So here we are trying to list out some popular examples with respect to your expert system. So initially we will talk about one expert system which was developed using your AI, called as your Dendral, which is which is an AI based project which was made as a chemical analysis expert system. So this is actually about the field called as your organic chemistry, where it will try to detect unknown organic molecules with the help of their mass spectra and the knowledge base of chemistry. So this is an application for your chemistry area, where there will be n number of new molecules will be generated according to the various combinations, and this intelligent system or the expert system will try to understand the unknown organic molecules according to their component called as mass spectra and the knowledge base what is already available. It will try to compare the previously stored knowledge base, and accordingly it will try to understand new organic molecules. So this is one of the important application or important example with respect to your expert system for the branch of chemistry. Similarly, you are having one more expert system called as mycin. It was one of the earliest backward chaining expert system that was designed to find the bacteria causing infections like bacteremia and meningitis. So these are the two important infections which were caused due to bacteria, and this expert system is trying would try to understand how a disease is being spread due to this bacteria, and it accordingly it will try to provide some recommendations like what antibiotics can be given, or how what are the measures to be taken so that the blood will not be clotted. So this is how an intelligent system is useful in the area of your medicine. Yeah, it is also used for the recommendation of antibiotics and the diagnosis of blood clotting diseases. So basically, due to your cancer or brain cancer, there will be clots in the blood. So those type of things, if you are having any doubt, if you are interacting with this intelligent expert system, according to the symptoms whatever you are specifying, it will try to recommend some antibiotics, which is an expert given information to that machine. So we can trust it because of there will be a number of parameters asked. So like you can see an application about Aragya Setu application, like how you are it is useful for your identifying your corona patients in today's system, right? It will try to see, ask you about body temperature, the location, like where did you travel in these days. Likewise, it will try to take all your parameters, and according to that, it will try to say what is the risk factor in your area. That is also one intelligent machine, because it is trying to take some knowledge from the user, the basic user. So you might be a victim, or you might be a patient or not. You will be trying to give you your details, and according to the details, it will try to understand the knowledge base according to your circle, and it will try to say what is the risk factor you are having, whether you need to be in a quarantine, you can stay outside, or you can go outside, or you need to be completely at your home. That is the application for your Aragya Setu application. In the same manner, for every area or every industry or anything, you will be having some intelligent expert machines or expert systems. So which will try to interact with the users, and it will take the inputs, and according to that inputs, it will try to give you some remedies, or some measures can be given by the expert system. So I can call Aragya Setu application as the expert system, because it is trying to keep you safe from the corona disease, because there are some infections going around our place. That's how an expert system will be useful for us in the day-to-day life. Similarly, the next application which was part of the expert system is PXDs. Like, it is an expert system that is used to determine the type and level of lung cancer. So suppose if a patient is affecting with the lung cancer, it will try to determine whether the person is having the high infection in his lungs, like what is the stage of the cancer. So it will try to take the picture from the upper body, which looks like the shadow. This shadows identifies type and degree of the harm. So basically, I can show you a small image how it will be actually useful. Like, this is an medical expert system which actually will be trying to diagnose your body and try to say what are the diseases your body is affected with, according to the knowledge base which is already having. There are all, you can see there are already doctors available. They will try to again verify this, whether the system whatever it is they providing inputs and the remedies whatever are preferred, whether it is correct or not. That's how there will be an assurance that whether it is working well or not. So these doctors create their rules and store them into the knowledge base. So they will be trying to provide, like how we will develop an algorithm. The same manner, they will try to provide some inputs, like if it is a lung disease, lung cancer. So these are the symptoms what it will be identified. So after that, system is able to make automated diagnosis suggestions based on the patient symptoms and the data provided by the analyst. Yeah, that's how and a lung cancer patient can approach an expert system, and he can be given some remedies. And next application you can see is your cadet, which is the expert system, which is provides diagnostic support system that can detect cancer at early stages. So if you are having some symptoms of cancer in your body, if you are you can directly approach doctors with respect to your cadet system, and your body will be scanned. If it is at the early stages, doctors will be trying to give you some solutions. Like you all people might be also knowing about your MRI scan, all these scans, where now everything is automated, and these are the expert systems in the medicine area. It will try to diagnose your body and take the symptoms into consideration, and a number of parameters will be taken, and accordingly some advice will be given to the patient. That's how something an automated system will be useful in a number of areas. Okay, yeah, this is what we have discussed now about a medical expert system, how it can be used. So Those are the important things about your expert system. Now let's try to find out what are the characteristics an expert system should possess. So how when do we call something as an expert system? What are the characteristics it need to possess? So basically the performance of your expert system should be very high, because it need to be competing with a human being in with respect to results. It need to be very high, basically because a human being will be very accurate and very fast about the situations what we already know, because the knowledge base is already present in our human brain. We'll be trying to give answers quickly. The same manner, because we are trying to provide some knowledge base to the user or the expert system, it need to provide good performance. The expert system provides high performance for solving any type of complex problem of a specific domain with high efficiency and good accuracy. So it need to be very accurate, and efficiency in providing the results should be very fast also. So it's not only fast, it should be efficient, it should be accurate. The responses given should be having a proper reasoning also. For that, it will try to use the knowledge base what you already provided. And next important characteristic is it should be understandable, because we cannot expect every time that a user will be an expert who is trying to interact with the machine. Even a non-expert user and without any knowledge of anything, a user can interact with a machine, because nowadays everything is automated in mobiles. Anybody will try to use your applications or the uh, services provided by the application. So it responds in a way that can be easily understandable by the user. So even an educated user or illiterate user, anybody who is trying to interact with that machine or an expert system, they should be able to at least understand what is that you're going to get. So it can take input in human language and provide the output in the same way. That's how an expert system need to be developed, and that is one important characteristic it needs to be possessed. The next one is it should be reliable, that is for generating an efficient and accurate output, because it will be validated by the experts. Again, it should be a reliable one. Next, it should be highly responsive, because why we actually are going for expert system, because a human being cannot be available for the 24 hours because of the a number of factors or a number of works. Sometimes a person might not be available. That's the reason if you are having an expert system, even in case of emergencies, in the absence of some doctor or any other expert, it need to act as an expert and try to give you some immediate responses. That's the reason it need to be highly responsible and available every time. Yeah, so expert system provides the results for any complex query with a very short period of time. So because it's a automated machine, so whenever the user is querying or asking some questions, it need to respond very fastly. So these are some of the characteristics which an expert system need to possess. Okay, yeah. So the next one is about components of expert system. So this is what we have seen previously while learning about the architecture of your expert system. So you'll be having three things like user interface, rules engine, and knowledge base. That's what we are again discussing here. It's called as rules engine or inference engine. So again, you need to try to understand the components in detail, like what are these components and how this can be uh, how kids can be used as part of your expert system. So basically you can see a human expert is available here, and he is here you can see a knowledge engineer who is trying to provide some knowledge base to the expert system. And here you can see the knowledge base will try to interact with the inference engine, and the inference engine will try to interact with the user. And finally, when a non-expert user is trying to interact with the expert system through the interface, he will be getting some advices according to the questionnaire asked by him. The questionnaire also should be very simple, so that it should be understood for the expert system. So there are still some limitations how a user need to provide some inputs. These all things we'll be seeing in the upcoming slides. Okay, yeah. So talking about UI, user interface, which everybody of you know what actually is a UI. Like this is the thing where a non-expert user or a basic user will try to interact with the expert system. So it will try to take some inputs with respect to queries or the questionnaire asked by them. So it interacts with the user, takes queries as an input in a readable format, and passes it to the inference engine. So the duty of UI here is to interact with the user and take inputs from the user, and then pass that information to the inference engine or the rules engine. So after getting the response from the inference engine according to the questionnaire asked, it will again give the same output to the user. So it will try to access a third party or the mediator between the rules engine and the normal user. So in other words, it is an interface that helps a non-expert user to communicate with the expert system to find a solution, because the rules engine or the program might not understand the user's language. The user interface will try to understand the language of a normal user, and it will try to convert the questionnaire to the understandable format for your rules engine. That is the role of this user interface. So next we'll talk about your rules engine or the inference engine. So the inference engine is known as the brain of the expert system. So that is because it will try to take inputs from the user, and accordingly it will try to provide advice from the knowledge base. So it will try to store some information in its body. That's why it is called as brain of the expert system, as it is the main processing unit of the system. If the inference engine is not properly working or there is any problem, so definitely you will not be getting the exact output what you want. That's why it is called as brain of the expert system. Yeah. So it applies inference rules from the taken from the knowledge base to derive some conclusions or inferences, or deduce some new information. So if the information according to the user query is available in the knowledge base, it will try to provide that output. Suppose that if the inference or the knowledge base is not having any idea about the questionnaire asked by the user, it will try to give the same response that data is not available and we cannot give you solutions for the question being asked. So it will try to only answer for the queries which it is already some knowledge on that. Otherwise it will try to give information like, sorry, we are not able to process your query, you can try later. In the meantime it will try to understand that, and accordingly it will be ready for the next time. Yeah. So it helps in deriving an error free solution of queries asked by the user, because a user will try to interact to a UI, and UI will convert the question in the understandable format for the rules engine. There will not be a error basically. If it has information, it will try to provide a solution, or else it will try to say that, sorry, we are unable to do that. So with the help of an inference engine, the system extracts the knowledge from the knowledge base, and it will try to provide the same output to the user. Okay, so this is very important thing what everybody need to understand with respect to your expert system. And next one is your knowledge base. That is the expert provided knowledge to a expert system. So it is considered as a big storage of your knowledge. The knowledge base is a type of storage that stores knowledge acquired from the different experts of that particular domain. So if I talk about a lung cancer, there will be some 10 to 20 experts who will try to give their inputs to that expert system according to the various queries, possible queries. So that's how we call it as a expert system knowledge base. So it is similar to your normal database that contains information and rules of a particular domain, but here the knowledge is provided by the expert of a particular area. So one can also view the knowledge base as a collection of objects and their attributes. So if somebody asks you what is a knowledge base, it is a collection of objects and their attributes, like what we have seen in the previous, like a player is one attribute, player one, player two, this weight, age are the at, attributes of that object. Such as a lion is an object and its attributes is mammal and not a domestic animal. Likewise there are some attributes about some object called as lion. So it will try to store information in such manner. So yesterday we have seen the previous session about understanding about semantic network. There we have seen like example of how a network is formed using the queries being asked. That's how it will try to store some knowledge in the from the knowledge database. Okay. Yeah. So that's it guys, I want to discuss about that till today's session. Yeah.